Good morning. You're welcome to Zela Business Management software demo video. And today I'll be teaching us on how to navigate through the POS, which is the point of sale feature of the Zela Business Management software. The POS feature of the Zela Business Management software is a feature on the software that actually allows business owners and users of this software to actually perform sales operations. The POS can be found under the Sell tab as the fourth submenu on the Cell tab, and it can also be located at the top right corner as the third feature button on the homepage of the Zela Business Management software. So when you click on the POS icon, it actually takes you to a page like this. So this is the page that you navigate first before going along to the main page of the POS. Now we have what we have here is the open cash register. The open cash register is a register that allows business users to open the sales transaction for the day by putting in the balance brought forward, which can be in form of cash at hand. Now, this cash amount here is going to be actually added or balanced at the end of the sales transaction day. So let us assume that the cash at hand we are going to be using for opening our register for today's sale is 40,000. You are expected to type in 40,000 and click on open register. So once you click on open register, the POS page is being opened up with register. So with this actually done in hand, it actually takes us to a page like this where we have uh, the location. This is the business location. So it's a Zilla business location and it's giving us the date and the time when we actually open today's sale as we did with opening the register. So you might there's some features that might interest you on the page of the POS. So here those features add expenses. When you click on the add expenses, this is actually a button that allows you to actually carry out expenses allow salespersons to carry out expenses in the days-to-day running activities of the business. So on the add expenses, you see here we have some compulsory fields like the business location, which the user is expected to put in. Expenses category, if there are any, you put in expenses category, the reference number. This one have to be auto-generated. The date is going to be auto-generated as well. So the expenses is for if there are other categories of expense. So it's for the demo account. This is for the name of the business. Okay. So what is the total amount of the expenses? So let's assume that we carried out an expenses that is worth 3,000 in amount. So you put in the price, the total amount of the expenses. After that, you can scroll down. You can scroll down. So now we have now this expenses. There are two ways of actually carrying out expenses. Some expenses can be paid for, while others can might not be paid for. Expenses that are not paid for will actually be saved as payment due. So you see now it's actually displaying payment due as 3,000 because this expenses has not actually been paid for. But even in cases where the salesperson is assigned to make payment with the cash at hand, then the payment for the expenses will be done. And when we have 3,000 here with our payment method, we can have different payment method can actually be done by cash, by card, by check or bank transfer. So this payment is done by cash, and you can have a payment note. You can say payment for repairs. So for instance, if this payment was actually made for repairs, so we actually type in payment for repairs and we click on save. So if you notice now from the payment due, we have nothing there that's gone back to 0 naira. That means these expenses have actually been paid for. So it was paid for from the cash at hand. So we click on save. See, expenses have been added successfully. So this is how to actually navigate the expenses button on the POS future. Then we have view suspended sales. Now, in terms of view suspended sales are sales that we are not actually completed due to one reason or the other. So, due to some facts, maybe the customer does not have a complete money or customer change their mind along the line. So, this any sales that are actually suspended, and this is where we have the suspend button. So, any sale that is entered and didn't proceed as clicked as suspended will be actually viewed from the suspended sales button on the top right corner of the page. Then we also have the okay. So this is the page increment and decrement button that allows you to actually reduce your page or have the page on a full screen. So we can see when you click on it, you can reduce the page, and when you want to have a full screen, you can also have a full screen. Then we also have the sales return. Now, the sale return actually allows users to actually keep record of sales that were actually returned or product that were returned from customers after they have been purchased. So now, what you need to do in this case is just to put in the sale invoice number. If, for instance, we have an invoice number of 4301, so you just type in the invoice number and send. So any if this invoice is actually existing, so you see here we say sale not found. So let's assume there is no invoice with this number. That means that particular sale was not found. So for in such a case where you have actually carried out a sale and that particular product was returned, then those particular sale can be actually saved as sale return. So there will be a record for the product that was returned. Then we also have here up here a calculator. We also have a calculator up here, a calculator that actually allows business owners to actually carry out calculation, yes, without going far. Okay, okay. So the calculator is here. Don't know the sales return. So this calculator actually up here actually allows users to carry out and calculation of sales. Let's go back to, okay, we're coming back to the POS right away. So we can see we have the calculator here that allows users to actually carry out simple arithmetic calculations without having to use manual calculators. As you can see here, we can carry out simple arithmetic calculations, and we just easily get our work done even without the use of manual calculators. So that is the function of the calculator button here. Then we also have the register details. Now this button actually helps to give a detailed breakdown of the transactions that happened during the day. Now, this the register details here, like you can see, it shows us the cash at hand. This is what we actually started the open the business today with cash payments. If there's any payment of cash made, no, but there was no payment of cash, but there was expenses on cash. So check payment if there are any sales on payment or expenses of payment, card payment if there are any card payment expenses on with card, bank transfers, and so on and so forth, advance payment as well. So you can see that the register actually here gives us a breakdown of every activity that actually happened on the during the day's activities. Then at the end of the day, you're going to automatically sum up the total sales, the total refund, the total payments, the credit sales, the total sales, and total expenses. So for now, because the total payment or the cash that we use, which is the balance brought forward, is 40,000, and the total expenses for now is 3,000. So you can see we have total payment and total expenses here. So you see details of goods of products sold. We haven't sold any products yet, so it's still empty. Details of products sold by brand. We haven't sold any, so it's empty. But at the end of the day, a business owner can decide to print you can see a business owner can decide to print the reports of the daily's activities, and by clicking the print button, which will take you to a page like this, you can click on print, or you cancel to go back. So this is that about the register. Then we also have here also the current register. Now, the difference between the register and the current register, they have similar information or similar details. It's just that the current register is used to balance up the transactions for the day. So you can see all the details that are appearing on the register is also appearing on the current register. The only difference is that the current register here, we have a space where you have total cash. Now, this total cash now is referring to the total amounts after expenses have been deducted from the balance brought forward or total sales made. You can see here we have 37,000. Remember, we made an expenses of 3,000, which was paid from the cash at hand. Then we started the transaction for the day with 40,000. So when you minus 40,000 from 3,000, what we have is 37,000. That is why our total cash at hand after the end of the business is 37,000. So we also have total card slips. This is how many cards we are used, total checks, how many checks we actually paid in. Then there's a closing note. So at the end of the day, the business sales personnel can be able to type if today was a very good business day, if business was okay, if sales coming well. That's why they have a note there, and you can close register. So when we carry out one or two sales, we'll be able to actually do the balancing and we'll close our register. So we really understand how the current register actually works. Then apart from the current register, another button we have here is the go back. The go back button allows you to go back to the home page or the home menu of Zela Business Management software, which is I performed a while ago. So with this, let's go back to the our sales or POS page. Now the POS page actually have just few details to fill before sales are carried out. One of such details is to fill in the customer. Now when you actually want to make sale, there are two categories of customers. There are working customers that just come to your business venture organization to make purchases, while there are customers that that they actually make purchases on scheduled basis or on weekly or daily basis. So these customers that actually patronize the business often, they are actually being saved under the contacts. So when you have customers saved under the contact, all you need to do is to search the customer's name, and um they will actually appear on the name of the customer. While we also have the name of the product. You can actually search a name of a product, or you add a product which you want to actually sell per time. So now what we're doing, first of all, we'll make an example of making sales with the POS. So we use the first example as a working customer. Let's assume this customer is just a working customer. He just walks into the business and wants to make purchases. So first of all, because we don't have any product added already, let's add a product. So let's assume the product we want to be adding here. Let's assume they are construction rods. So doesn't want to this is a building material organization. We have construction rod. What is the unit of the construction rod? Okay, let's say it is being sold in pieces. The brand, if there's any. uh okay, we don't have a brand being added here. We don't have category as well, so we can leave all this. Then uh let's assume the alert quantity. Okay, let's put 5. The alert quantity here refers to the quantity that the stock will get to before where it will notify the user that is running out of stock. So the product description, you can say this is a construction, this is a building material. So this is a building material. So applicable tax, if there are taxes, you can say yes or no, but here we say none. So selling price tax type, just leave it on exclusive. So okay. So now this is all the margin where we define the price of the product. So let's assume we want to sell this product excluding tax, we're selling for 24,000, including and 2,400, including tax is 2,400. So the default selling price by default is going to be 3,000. So if after setting this is going to be determined by the business owner on how the prices of each product is going to be. So after doing that, we can actually define the quantity of the product. We say let us assume we have 45 rods, so we save. So we get an alert that product has been added successfully. We have just gotten the alert. So now let's assume we want to sell one rod, or we can decide to increase the numbers using the plus sign or decrease using the. So let's assume we are selling two construction rods for a particular customer. We don't know this customer, it's just a working customer. The subtotal is 6,000. So you can see here we have total payable at 6,000. So when you want to sell, let's assume this customer is paying by cash. This is the first example we'll be giving. So we'll just come to cash transactions and we'll click on the payment. These are all payment options. So we'll just come here and we'll click cash. What it means that this customer is paying by cash. So once you click on cash, sales added successful, the notification as here, and the invoice will be generated. Now, this customer is buying construction rod, two pieces, one unit. Each unit price is 3,000 and the subtotal is 6,000. So if you want to print, we print. If you have a printer connected to your system, you can print. If not, you can cancel. The transaction will be viewed under recent transaction, and you see we have one working customer. He bought a product of 6,000. So this is how we actually perform sales on the POS, on the POS feature of Zela Business Management software. So you see, it's very easy. So let's make another example using a customer that is already been saved. So now let's add a new contact as our customer. So this customer ID will be auto-generated. So this customer is an individual. Let's assume it's an individual. It can be a business customer. It can be a business organization, or it can be an individual. So let's say customer group. Our customer is doing any customer group. So the prefix, let's assume this customer is a woman. So let's say Miss. Okay, it's a man. Since men are actually involved in construction. So let's assume the name of this customer is John. His last name is James. So Mr. John James, let's assume his phone number is 09087654321. Uh, Email is not really necessary. Date of birth not really necessary. All this not really necessary. So we save. So we have just added new customers to the added successfully. So for example, when we want to make purchases, want to make sales now, what we do, okay, we assume now that this customer, let's we just added him. You see Mr. James John is added here. So what is Mr. James John trying to get? We come here, we click on enter product, so you can actually easily search the name of the product since you know what he wants to buy. We say construction rod. So by just typing the first three words of construction rod, it's going to pop out construction rod to us. So you can see it's loading. You can see the construction rod is already here. So construction rod, let's assume Mr. James is buying in pieces is the only units that we have available. This is where you see the units. So let's assume Mr. James is buying three, and no, three is 9,000. So this is three construction rod going to Mr. John James. So what we do here is that since we have selling to Mr. John James, so we can, like I said, we have actually practiced using cash. So now let's go to maybe paying by check. So if you want to see where you pay by check, you come to multiply pay. When you click on multiply pay, you can see the total amount to pay is 9,000. Payment method, you can choose a payment method. So here we'll click on check. So check number. So assume put the check number 4532456 7. Assuming this is the check number. The payment note, if there is note, if the note is not actually compulsory, it can be left and it can also be filled. So after this has been done, we have other sell notes, staff note. All these are, if it is necessary, then they can be filled. If not, they can be left. Then you see finalize payment. When you click on finalize payment, that means this customer has already taken the check. So you see sale has been added successfully and the invoice has been generated. So when you have a printer connected, you can print the make printing, give a copy to the customer, the organization or business keep theirs. So now come to recent sale as well. We're going to see now we have two customers. The first customer was a working customer. The second customer is a customer. We have his details and his name is Mr. James John. So you can see that is how we actually make sales. So apart from on the multiply sales, you see all the sales options that are available. See paying by card also, it has carried out the same procedure. It only asks for card numbers of the user of the buyer. You fill in the card number of the buyer, then credit sale. So we'll make another practice using credit sale. So assuming now we have Mr. James John. So if we want to sell to Mr. James John, maybe Mr. James John came back another day, we'll just type James. So you see Mr. James John, because he's already saved in our contact, he will appear anytime we type the name, any of the names. So we click on Mr. James John. Mr. James John is back to buy construction rod again. So by just clicking construction rod or coming to all brands, since we don't have any brand on hand, we click on construction, or we use this time we use rod. So Yes. So construction road now we have, let's assume Mr. James is back to buy two this time. So when Mr. James is buying two construction rods, so we have Mr. James actually being filled here. So let's assume Mr. James this time wants to buy our product on credit. So what we just do is to click on, after the end of, after doing the imputation, you just click on credit sales and it's going to be added as credit sales. So you see sales added successfully. So it's coming out. Mr. James John is making credit purchases. So you can print, like I said, this is an invoice generation. You can print at any time. You can decide not to print. So we have also added credits here. Come to recent transactions, you will see it here. Mr. James John, number three. So this here doesn't show the actual breakdown of the sales because it's just a daily transaction record. So this is how we actually perform each of these. Now, the first payment method here by draft. A draft is more like a document that allows users to actually make purchases after, that allows users to make buyers to come to a business venture, especially buyers that the business is conversant with, or contacts that they already know, or businesses that they make business with. They come select products or packages that they want to buy. Then after these packages are being packed up and gathered for them, an invoice will be sent to them, which they will acknowledge and make payment before the product will be sent across. So that is how draft works. So any transaction that is being saved as draft, meaning after some time, the person or the buyer that has the transaction will confirm the invoice, then make payment before the product will be sent across. While for quotations, quotations are also similar like like draft, although for quotations they are just used to, especially for in case of customers that maybe they don't have complete money at hand. So instead of suspending their sales, you can put them as quotation. What it means that these customers will actually, their product has been packaged, but they will actually get back to pick their product. So this is quotation, and that is how draft work. Then I've shown us the suspend sale. So let's just make a quick example. A working customer comes in, he wants to get a rod. So we click on rod, and at the end of the day, the customer was actually hoping that the rod would be sold for a lesser amount. He wants to get one rod, but he was unable to buy the rod. So when the this cannot be done, we can actually easily click on suspend, and we say suspend note. Say we can say customer not ready. So he doesn't have his money ready. Where we save this, so this particular sale now has been added successfully, but it has been added as a suspended sale. That means the sale was not completed. So that is how we navigate each of the buttons here for actually carrying out sales with the POS feature. So at the end of the day, let's show something very important with the current register. So at the end of the day, we can see the transactions that have been carried out. So now this is what we have. We have cash at hand, 40,000. Remember, this is the balance brought forward, or the opening balance we use for the to open up the day's business. So now we have cash payment. The first cash payment that was made was 6,000, and we also have cash expenses of 3,000 that was made for making for repairs. Then we have check payment. Somebody bought product and paid with check. 9,000 is recorded here, but we don't have any check expenses. So card payment, we don't have any. Bank transfer, we don't have any. Advance payment, there is none, and there is none also for expenses. So at the end of the day, you notice that the total sales that was carried out, let's go calculate properly. The total sales, we have a sale of cash sales 6,000, check pay sales 9,000. So that is why we have the total here as 15,000. So total refund, we didn't refund, there was no money refunded to any customer. Total payment, now the total payment is talking about total cash at hand. Remember when we started the open the transaction for the day, we started with 40,000. So at the end of the day, the only cash that came in to add to the 40,000 was 6,000, because remember 9,000 was paid by check. So it was only 6,000 that came in as cash. So that is why our total payment for today was now 46,000. Now, credit sales, made a sales of credit of 9,000. I don't know if you remember when we used Mr. James John as an example. He came back to buy more product and he bought on credit. Now, we have the credit sales of 9,000. Then we have total sales of 24,000. Now, how do we get total sales of 24,000? The total sale here is referring to all the sales that you are made, both by check, by cash, by credit. So remember we started by making 6,000 by cash. We made another 9,000 by check. Then we made another 9,000 on credit. So at the end of the day, we had 24,000. So these were the total sales that were made, 24,000. Now, somebody might want to ask, where is the other sale that we made that for one road, the one that we suspended? Now, it will not be added because it's a suspended sale. The sale was not actually carried out because it was suspended. So at the end of the day, we see our total expenses here is actually reading 3,000, which is the only expenses we made for today. So the details of products sold. Now you see the total grand number of products that were sold altogether was 8 quantity. So at the end of the day, we'll be able to know, the business owners will be able to know how many products left their stock or their business location on a particular day. So the total number of construction rod that left the business on this particular day was 8, and the grand total for 8 construction rod is 24,000, which we have the total here. So now we also have details of product by brand because we only have one brand of product, so we have it here. So now the total cash that we're going to be balancing with for the day is 43,000. I don't know if we know how we actually got our 43,000. Remember, the total cash at hand now is 46,000. So, but we cannot have 46,000 because we made cash expenses of 3,000. So when you deduct 3,000 from 46,000, the total cash we'll be having at hand is going to be just 43,000. Then our total card slips, there was no payment by card, so it's zero, but our total checks is one because we had one payment by checks. So with this, our closing note, we can say today's the business salesperson might decide to say today's business was okay as few sales were made. So now with this now, uh so with this you can see a closing note has actually been made by the sales personnel or the front desk cashier or anybody. Then the register can now be closed. By closing the register, what it means that for today, transactions has been closed and balanced. So you close register. When you close register, you see yes. So that register has actually been closed. So that it was the register for that particular day transaction. So you see, once you want to start a new day's transaction, you start by entering a new amount. So now, when we go back to sale and you want to see all the sales that have been made so far, so you come to all sales under this sale tab. Come to all sale. When you come to all sale, you scroll down. Now you see the details of all the sales that are made. Now you see the first sales we made was by a working customer. He paid cash 6,000. He bought total items he bought was one. That was he bought only one product. He shopped on only one product. Yes. So now we also have second customer, Mr. James John. Mr. James John came in, he paid, and he paid by check. He paid 9,000. So Mr. James John also came again and he collected the product on credit. You see, we have it here as due 6,000. Then we now have the last, which is the working customer, which is recorded as due, and the total amount is 3,000. But remember, this was the transaction that was actually suspended. Now, why it was actually recorded as due is that because we are assuming that this customer might come back and pick his product. So it's recorded as due, but it will not be computed when the total say when we are balancing because it didn't appear either as cash or as credit. So you can see here the sell note is appearing here. They said customer is not ready. So this is where we actually see our totals, all the sales that and the total sales that were actually made. So if after accumulating the sales, maybe at the end of the week, at the end of the month, the business owners might decide to see the sales. So that's why we have different buttons here: export to CSV, export to Excel. You can print them, you can view them as PDF files. So this is how we navigate the POS. Then there's also a POS option also available. Now we have list POS. This list POS also is very similar with the list sales because here it shows us uh, all the sales that are actually performed from the sales point, which is the point of sale. So this is it. So it has almost similar record with what we have on the all sales. Then now we also have the look at where we have the list quotation and the list draft. Remember, I explained to us quotation and draft. So any sales that has been added as draft will be visible under the list draft. Those added as quotations will be visible under the list quotation. So this is how to navigate